Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to another segment of the MCR. Mac and me, my name's TJ, and in this segment I was compelled to report on one, and I'll include a second federal law enforcement agency, and I'm going to refer to them as law enforcement, even though it's the IRS, and they've become another law enforcement agency as far as I'm concerned.
Well, they're behaving like one.
They sure are. And the Gateway Pundit ran two stories right next to each other, as if you know one then the other. And when you look at these two stories that the Gateway Pundit ran, it's disconcerting. Their conduct. I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible here, but I guess this past April, an IRS agent appeared at a woman's house, falsely identified himself. He did identify himself as an IRS agent, but it appears he gave a false name. Okay? And the false name he gave was Bill House. And the Gateway Pundit was compelled to report that prior to his visit, this woman received no notification in the mail from the IRS. So when this guy appeared and and claimed to be with the IRS, she had no idea why he was there. Okay, it's reported that he produced several documents for her to fill out, and this lady, I guess she had an attorney on retainer or something, because the report goes she immediately called her attorney. The attorney spoke to the IRS agent, told him to leave the home. And get this. This is how the IRS agent, who improperly identified himself, here was his response. I am an IRS agent. I can be at and go into anyone's house at any time I want to be. And then it is reported he did in fact leave the house. But that, Mac,
Come to my house and we'll see about that.
you know, uh, the story doesn't end here. The story doesn't end here. I say story, should say the incident. Incident doesn't end. After he left, and she got the license plate of his vehicle too. Okay, she calls, and I guess this happened in Ohio, Marion, Ohio. Okay, and she called the Marion Police Department. She gave him the plate number. They ran the plate number, and this is why he was an IRS agent, because when they ran the plate, they were like, yeah, this is an IRS guy,
Government plate, yeah, right.
And but then the police, uh, they weren't sure what the police. The way I read this story here, the police thought that maybe this IRS agent was up to some hanky panky. In other words, okay, you're an IRS agent, but something's not. You're not being straight up on something here. Is what the Ohio police were accusing this guy of. And he too says they said advised him that if they went to this taxpayer's home again, they would arrest him. And and again, the IRS agent responded to the police virtually, I'm going to say virtually the same way that the IRS agent responded to this woman's lawyer.
I'd say go back. Let's see what happens.
Oh, and they filed, the IRS agent filed a complaint against the police department, a federal complaint against the police department.
Well, whenever you speak to these people, it's extremely important that you don't make any threats, because then now you've stepped into an area you don't want to be in, threatening a federal agent. That's going to maybe be 5 to 10 years in prison. To be very careful there.
To wrap this one incident up, because people are wondering, gee, how did this turn out? This is how it turned out. This should only take 30 seconds or so. On May 4, 2023, a taxpayer spoke with the supervisor of Agent House, who clarified nothing was owed on the estate. Because it involved, I guess this person was, in charge of a relative's estate, and the accusation involved what the expired person may or may not have owed the IRS. Okay, so that's what it was kind
So
of
it was
about.
determined then that nothing was owed.
Well, yes, in a nutshell, the
So under
supervisor.
what guise did he? This is what I'd like to ask Agent House. Well, under what guise did you go there? If
Well,
you did your homework, you would know what your supervisor knows, which is nothing was owed. So why
he,
are you going there? What private scam is Agent House running? Would be the
well,
supervisor's thought, I would think.
there
Be
there's
my thought.
another possibility here. Maybe the IRS, because the supervisor admitted that the agent was wrong in what he did and closed the case.
Yeah.
So maybe they figured X amount isn't worth what's happening here, how this is
Yeah. Well,
playing out.
they got a pushback,
Uh-huh.
thankfully, from the police in Ohio, and a pushback from the person. A lot of people are afraid to stand up to them. I just would caution everyone again: be very careful how you say things.
Well, I'll read this one sentence here. On May 30th, 2023, the taxpayer received a letter from the IRS that the case had been closed. So I guess all's well that ends well, you know.
I mean,
But
do the Bill of Rights not apply to the IRS? Is that what they're saying now? The Fourth
well,
Amendment doesn't apply. The Fifth Amendment doesn't apply to them.
our incident involving the IRS with support of the ATF. I guess some time ago, I don't know the exact date here because I don't really see one in the article other than sometime prior, the IRS and ATF appeared at what appears to be a very large gun store in Montana, I think it is. The name of the store is Highwood Creek Outfitters. And for some reason or another, I want to say it's in Montana, in Great Falls. In any event, they confronted the owner as he was opening his shop for the day. The owner's name is Van Hoose, Hoose, and here's how the one news report goes. A spokeswoman for the IRS would only say they were there on official IRS business. The ATF says it was providing assistance to the IRS. We attempted to enter the store today and were stopped by agents at the door who would only say that the gun store is closed and will reopen tomorrow. Now, according to the owner, he says he's been under investigation for 2 years by different agencies, FBI, Occupational Health and Safety, Department of Homeland Security, and now he gets a visit from the IRS.
Well,
You know,
here's my question. You're going to close my store. What documentation or under what authority do you close my store? Did they have a warrant or a subpoena or an injunction from a court?
Van Hoos, it's reported Van Hoos claims that he was simply told his business had been reported. So someone anonymously put in a complaint, although he remains in the dark about who reported it or why. He believes the whole episode was politically motivated. So bring in the IRS, because you know how hard it is to be compliant on all the IRS tax codes.
Right.
I think that
a 60,000 page book.
Yeah, I think, you know, the FBI couldn't get anything on them. I think the ATF couldn't get anything on them. So, well, let's bring in the IRS because everyone, you know, who is 100% pure and virtuous when it comes to compliance with the IRS. You know, it's become, well, here's the thing though. It's become that complicated. You know what? Why do you think people pay accountants to do their tax returns now? Because that's how much they fear the IRS.
Well,
You know?
let me swerve slightly off topic. You remember Steve Forbes, right?
Yeah.
You could do your taxes on a index card with Steve Forbes' plan to go to a flat tax.
Yeah.
People didn't vote for him. Well, he looked nerdy. Well, okay, then accept tyranny from the IRS now. You're going to get what you asked for because you're so damn superficial.
Well, in regards to this particular incident with the Highwood Creek Outfitters, he came out of it unscathed, we'll say, other than losing business for a day. No charges, no arrests, no nothing. You know what? They were there to harass the guy.
And you know what? He ought to be able to go to court and sue them for damages for that business loss that day.
And I do believe a drum, and I've mentioned this before, and I think this is a drum I'm going to start beating at every opportunity. I'm going to reference what is referred to as grievance number 10 in the Declaration of Independence. And Mac, you've heard me beat this drum before. Grievance number 10 in the Declaration of Independence says, he has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. That's exactly what's going on here.
Bingo.
That is exactly what's going on here.
It is exactly what happened there.
You know, and this is a grievance listed in the Declaration of Independence. Oh, well, I quote the Declaration of Independence. Now I'm a radical.
Let's be clear. We both understand that the Declaration of Independence is not a legally binding. It's not a legal document like the Constitution is. But the Constitution is pretty clear on these things as well, without putting it that explicitly. I'll quote Justice Scalia, as I have many times on this show. The Constitution is a legal document. It says what it says, and it doesn't say what it doesn't say. And it says you can't shut down this guy's business for no reason other than you want to.
While I concur with the Declaration of Independence is not the Constitution, it is the reason why this country exists. It was the letter sent to the King and Parliament of England.
It certainly fits in this occasion. That's for absolute positive.
So that's all I got on this particular topic. Sent swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. And that's what's going on here,
Well, I know the guy, he doesn't want to lose his business and go to prison like the J6ers without a trial for years and yada, yada, yada. But he should have opened a store. He should have told them to step off and call the local sheriff to possibly intercede on his behalf.
Here's a problem with that. It appears the local sheriff was there to assist with perimeter security.
Then you sue him too. See, there's got to be an accountability. There's got to be a cost for doing what they're doing.
So,
hey, maybe they hope the guy whips out a pistol and it's on.
No, I don't know, but
Bonnie and Clyde happens.
And because I find it scary that the ATF would help the IRS in going after someone under an anonymous, I'm going to say tip or whatever,
I would, if I were president tomorrow, I would abolish the ATF.
So
it's a goon squad.
And here's a shameless tease for those who are still watching. Here's a shameless tease for another segment. The next one's going to involve my rant on another federal agency. Okay, so please return for that. Okay, and we'll leave it at that. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.